All right, hey, YouTubers. Again, David LeMay with A1 American Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning. All right, I'm going to be talking here today about the closet bolts on the closet flange. Okay, so toilet ring, got the little bolts, closet bolts. All right, now always remember is when you're changing out the wax seal on a toilet. I don't know. I never would reuse the old bolts, just for some reason. I just always was, taught to change them all out. And another thing is now is that you want to make sure that these bolts are not metal, okay? Inspectors, sometimes I know that it's kind of hard once you have the cap and everything on, but, I've heard before these little guys will be coming around with a little magnet and see if you got metal bolts, and if you do, you have to change them to brass, non-ferrous, okay? But anyways, and obviously the nut, you want brass. So, and then obviously you get this nice and centered, so the toilet is nice and, it's not crooked, not misaligned because of the bolts being, off, you don't want it looking like that, right? You want that baby nice and straight across level, right from the wall. Perfect. So, before what happened when you used to buy the wax seals, you would get that little flimsy plastic washer in there. Well, that was kind of the thing to kind of hold the bolt up, and and then you'd be trying to set the toilet down, and it would hit and move the bolt, and it screwed it all up, just, crazy. So, a lot of the companies will now, what they'll do is they'll send you 4 washers and 4 nuts and 2 bolts. Perfect. It's great. So you can secure them. All right. Secure those bad boys down on there, and this way it isn't going nowhere. And they got 6 holes for the flange. Okay. Make sure that is good and secure also. If it's on concrete, make sure you got your concrete anchors in there. If it's wood, get your wood screws in there. Secure this thing to the floor, because when you tighten the toilet down, see, it looks like this one's kind of bowed in a little bit. I'll show you how to straighten those out. But when you start tightening on the toilet, guess what? You don't want it doing this, right? You're moving the whole darn pipe. Now you're gonna, you could probably crack it if it's plastic, but a lot of times if it's not secured, that's what happens, or you get one of those 4x2 Instasets, the Franklin pattern. It's just got 4 bolts that compress a rubber gasket around the cast iron pipe, but that'll just, come up. Don't think that compression is going to hold that 4x2 or 4x4 onto the pipe. It'll move right up, And you just have maybe some rocking. It just make sure the thing doesn't rock and it's secured. So, all right. But as far as you get a bent bolt or something like that, man, I just put it in there. It's brass. It's easy, and just, bend it straight. Do the same. But you want these things coming up straight, right? Because you set the toilet on there, you're going to put the wax on the bottom of the toilet. Make sure the bottom of the toilet is really clean, okay? And if it's a new toilet, it may have a lot of powder from the factory, okay? Just from all the grinding, sanding, and, cleaning, and but it gets that little powder, it's just like flour, and it's on the bottom. And I was like, wow, one time I went and I just wiped my finger across it, and wow, it was all chalk on my hand. I go, wow, I'm glad that I noticed that, it's not in the instructions, but you don't want a brand new wax, fresh wax on that powder, So now you're going to affect the seal. I'm putting flour on top of this thing so you get it nice and clean on the bottom. And then you take your toilet, you got to make sure it's at least 70 degrees too, by the way, guys. I don't know if you're Midwesterns and probably cold now. Well, yeah, is make sure the thing's at least, about 70 degrees, they figure. So this way it can just, distribute evenly when you're actually setting it onto the flange. So you put this on the bottom of the toilet, you take this black plastic off and pop it off. I don't want to show you the wax. The wax is on the bottom. It's a new ring, and it's the flange part. So boom, sets on top of, well, this is what it's going to be when the toilet is on there, and then you tighten it down and it squeezes all out. So, yeah, you want to turn your toilet upside down, make sure that it's really clean, and then you set this onto the toilet. Sometimes I kind of press it to squeeze it a little bit so that when I tip it back up to install it, it doesn't fall off on the floor. Next! So, anyways, thanks for listening. And this is about wax seals, installing on a closet flange, and having the bolts bolted down. And also, as to once you set the toilet on there, make sure you have little caps. Okay, have another, the plastic washer, and then a metal washer, and then the nut. Tighten it down. And then a lot of times on the American Standard, it's got the long caps now, so you don't have to cut the, cut the bolts. That's kind of cool. Well, actually, what they have is they have a plastic nut now that holds their Champions and Cadet 3s. That's what they're using. You have to remember is that not only they're counting on it, you're just going to tighten the little plastic nuts down to hold the toilet onto the flange here, but also you're going to have to put a little bead of caulking around the base, and that's going to also adhere to the tile or the linoleum or whatever that other laminate flooring is, or wood flooring. So but the other toilets that you may install, Kohler or whatever, you may have to cut these, and just use your little hacksaw. Yeah, cut it off and shorten it, put the caps on, away you go. So perfect. All right, so thanks for watching. And they always say, I don't know, click and subscribe, hit this, hit that. I just want to help you guys. Anybody that, is trying to do it themselves and trying to save a buck, because there's right ways and wrong ways of doing things. And, I wish we had YouTube, There's a lot of stuff I had to learn on my own, but a lot was just from some good mentors of mine, A big shout out to the Mills brothers. Yeah, the Bay Area. Yeah, Gary and Steve, good guys. But anyways, thanks again for watching, and bye for now.